Welcome to Textile Update. I'm Gwendolyn Hustvedt. This video is part of a series of videos where I introduce topics that we will be discussing in our textiles class. If you're not a student in my textiles class or you're a continuing education student, welcome to the video anyway. These topics can be found in almost every textbook about textiles. The topic today is fabrication. Now, most of what I'm going to be discussing when I cover this topic with students is about weaving. Weaving is an ancient method. We see evidence of weaving in the archaeological record. In very, very old houses that we unearth in archaeological digs, we can see that looms were actually part of the design of the house. They were literally built into the house. So we can find the looms just by the design of the house. So I start by covering all of the different parts of the loom and the motions of the loom. So things like inserting the shuttle, which is called picking, or pulling back the reed to tighten the filling yarns, which is called beading, or the rolling of the cloth beam in order to move the area that's being woven further down into the lap of the weaver so that more warp yarns are freed up for weaving. That's all of which are very important things to know about, even if you never actually weave yourself. Understanding things like how the heddles fit into the harnesses and how the harnesses are raised and lowered. These are all important. We will discuss the specific methods of weaving to create different patterns, plain weaves or twills or satin weaves, in further lectures on weaving. But just for now, understanding how a loom works. Besides the parts of the looms, we'll also talk about various types of looms, beginning with the very early looms, such as a backstrap loom, and going clear through to the incredibly fast mechanical looms that we use now. I'll also cover the properties of warp and filling yarns. Now you'll notice I'm calling them filling yarns instead of weft yarns, and I try to do this fairly consistently because having two things that start with W, just WW, it gets a little confusing. So I like to have the W and the F. Even though you may see in textbooks they're called weft, warp and weft, or warp and woof looms, I use the F for filling just to keep things cleared up for memory purposes. Warp yarns are very different than filling yarns. They undergo different properties. They're put into the loom differently, and so they just end up behaving differently when the weaving is finished. These are all good things to know. And then I wrap up by talking about various ways that we can classify fabrics. So we could talk about the weight, we could talk about the opacity, we could talk about the hand, is it stiff or soft, right? So all of these are important things that help us identify fabrics because we can say, oh, that is a medium weight plain weave. Ooh, it's yarn dyed, therefore it is likely to be gingham. I just know that without knowing much more. Or, oh, it's a heavyweight fiber dyed made with spun yarns. Chances are it's a tweed, right? So we can know these things just by how we've classified the yarns. All right, so enjoy this introduction to the next phase of our learning about textiles where we actually begin to make fabric.